Hey everybody, welcome. Today is the last day in chapter 11. You have made it to the end of geometry, well, without the final, of course. But today is the last lesson that we're going to be talking about in chapter 11. We're going to be discussing equations of circles today. With these equations of circles, we're going to be writing and graphing equations of a circle. Okay, we're not going to be solving essentially, but more or less graphing. All right, it says when a circle, and I want you to write this down. So I guess I'll wait. So pause now, write this down, and we will discuss after. All right, so when you look at this problem, it states when a circle has the center at the origin, an equation for a right triangle can be found using the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, where a is equal to the x coordinate, b is equal to the y coordinate, and c is equal to the radius. So we have an equation of x squared plus y squared equals r squared. Our r squared is our radius. So when you do this, okay, you have an x and your y, and that's going to add up. Their squares are going to add up to be the r squared. Again, your radius is essentially your hypotenuse, okay? But if you look at the circle, we can find different a way to use the right triangle and a way to use the Pythagorean theorem to find this radius. All right, so let's try one. So it says write an equation for the circle. All right, so in this equation, we don't know, we don't know our x and our y, but we are able to find our radius. Okay, so if I look at this, we do not know our x and y. Okay, we're not sure what it would be. Okay, but we do know what our radius is. So if I look at this, notice that our center is going to be right in the middle of the graph there, and we can find our radius as anything from the center to the outside of the circle. Okay, so here's the outside of the circle. When we write this, okay, again, we've been talking about, well, you get x squared plus y squared is equal to your radius squared. Okay, well, if I look at that, how far is, we don't know our x, so we're going to leave x squared there. We're going to leave y. We don't know our y squared. But we do know our radius, and if you look at this, the length of our radius would be 1, 2. This is going to be 2 squared. So all it asks us to do is write an equation for the circle. That equation looks like this. Okay, we know we can simplify 2 squared to 4. Okay, so when you look at this, this number right here is your radius squared. All right, so again, your radius squared is your end. We do not know our x and our y, but we do know our radius. All right, sweet. Here you go. The next one, we're going to be talking about the equations of a circle with the center HK and its radius of r. Okay, so before we didn't know what our x and we didn't know what our y was. Okay, but now we know what our x and our y was based on what our center is. Okay, and if you look at this, you're going to have two binomials. They're going to add up to equal your r squared, and it's the difference of these of the terms. So you get x minus your x term of your center plus y minus your y term of your center. Okay, and you set that equal to r squared. Pretty easy once we get into it, but let me explain it. All right. So if I look at this, you do not have to write this down. What we are going to be doing is we are going to be writing an equation once again. But this time we don't get we are not given a center, or sorry, we are not given a graph. We are given just the center and we are given the radius. So from here, we are going to plug in what we know. Well, we know, first of all, our equation is going to be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. We know that h is my x term in my center, k is my y term in my center, and r is my radius. So all I do is I plug in the information I know. So I take x minus 2, that's going to be squared, plus y minus 2. We're going to square that, and that's going to be 4 squared. Now, when I look at this, I don't need to factor or FOIL these two binomials out. I don't need to do it. All I have to do is just square out my answer, simplify it in this type of a setting, and I'm done. That's my equation. I'm not finding the answer. All it asks us to do is write the equation of the circle. Okay, and this is the equation of the circle for different x's and y's. All right, now your turn. If you look at this, I want you to write the equation of this circle, okay, where the circle P with the center of P of 0, negative 3, and a radius of 8. I want you to give this one a shot, see what you come up with. All right, so we know the equation, the formula of our equation of a circle. That's going to be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. When you plug this stuff in, you end up with x minus 0 squared plus y minus negative 3 squared is equal to 8 squared. When we round this, or sorry, not round this, we can simplify this. We get x squared, because x minus 0 is always x, so you get x squared plus y plus 3 squared is equal to 64. That's the answer that I'm looking for right here. Okay, I simplified as much as I could, and I can get different pieces of information from it. All right? Sweet! Next. Now, if you are given, I want you to write this down. You can write this down and pause, please. All right. Now, if you are given the equation of a circle, you can graph the circle by identifying its center and its radius. If you know its center, if you know its radius, you know that will be easy to do. Okay. So when we do this, we're gonna solve one graph here. Look at this. I have x minus 3 squared plus y plus 4 squared is equal to 9. Well, I know that my formula for the equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. So when I do this, remember my h and k are the centers of my circle, which are, if I look at h, that looks like 3. And notice I have a negative k, and negative k is 4, so I actually end up with negative 4. Okay, what's my r? Well, if you look at this 9 isn't where my r is supposed to be, but that's squared, so we actually have to take the square root, which is 3. So I know my center is 3, negative 4. I know my radius is 3. With that information, I can now graph. So I go to 3, negative 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. I put my center. Okay, there's my center. Now I have to figure out what my radius is. Well, my radius is 3, so I just count. 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3 here. 1, 2, 3 there. 1, 2, 3 there. Now I connect the dots. Now I know it looks like a square, but we are graphing a circle, so make it as round as possible by going through those points, all of those points. And I graphed my kind of circle-y shape. That is a circle. Okay, we don't need to, if you put those 4 points, you can easily just connect the dots and form your circle. All right? So you find your center first, find your radius, plug those things in, and solve. Ready? Your turn. Here we go. We have x minus 3 squaring it. We're going to add y plus 2. We're going to square that, and that's going to equal 4. Okay, I want you to figure out what your center is. I want you to figure out what your radius is, and then I want you to graph it. Give it a shot. Pause. All right, so if I look at this, again, what is the formula I've been using? x minus h, square that, plus y minus k. I'm going to square that, and that's going to be r to the second. Okay, what's in my, and remember my h and k is the center, and that's going to be, h is 3, k is, oh, look at this, look at that right there. We are adding. So because we are adding, that changes the sign, -2. My r, look at that, that's my r squared, so I need to take the square root, which is 2. Alright, so now I plug it in what I know. 1, 2, 3, go down 2, 1, 2. My radius is 2, so I have points here, 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 and I make my circle. And I'm done. Okay, so if you look at that again, notice my radius is 2, and I know it's 2 because I have 2 even boxes here. Okay, so you check out what your h and your k is, find that, figure out your radius, graph. All right, relatively short lesson today. And the information I thought was okay. I hope you found it to be helpful. From then on, you're going to get your assignment later on. I want you to have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed taking these geometry notes. Have a great day. Bye.